Are live. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of PMP's Den of Antiquities. We're here to talk about the last episode of Andor, and I guess Andor as a whole. But before we get into that, we have a sponsor from me. If you guys don't know, I run a 3D printing business that I make a lot of nostalgic, like Lego Star Wars stuff, video game related stuff. And right now, I'm doing 20% off my entire store when you use code BFS22, and I just wanted to kind of pull that up. You guys can see it here. It's PNP Creations with a Z. I got a lot of cool stuff, a lot of 3D files, a lot of 3D prints. You name it, I got it. And if I don't, hit me up and I'll make it for you. Show you guys some awesome Lego Star Wars lightsabers. The Boba Fett blaster that's actually put the right way this time because I filmed a video with the barrel on the other side, and oh my god, everybody was like, "You put the barrel on the wrong side. You put the barrel." I'm like, "I know. It was a mistake, guys. It was a mistake. I'm not perfect." But yeah, you can get a long, I guess this is a short blaster actually, but you guys can get all that stuff on my site. But now that that's over, Nick actually has an announcement that's also super cool. So Nick, take it away, man.
So a casting call is up for Golden Guy Pictures' Star Wars fan film titled Kestis, which will be the sequel to his first fan film, The Foretelling, which is up on YouTube as we speak. So definitely go check that out. And we are looking for movie-accurate post-Empire Mandalorians, stormtroopers, and live-action clone troopers in the Sarasota and Bradenton, Florida area. If you fall into the category of one or more of the requirements, definitely reach out via email to goldenguypictures@gmail.com with pictures of your armor and your home city. That's goldenguypictures@gmail.com. And we look forward to hearing from you.
Heck yeah, man. I'll throw that link also down below as well, so you guys can go check out that video of the first Kestis project as well.
And guys, he's wearing an Imperial officer hat, by the way, for those who are listening. So this is an order. It's not a request.
Yeah. It's the spark of the First Order. But okay, so Andor's finally over, man. What did you guys think? We got the. I guess we didn't talk about last week's episode too, so we'll throw that in there. What did you guys think about we'll kind of combine them. What did you think about both of the episodes?
So I thought a little bit more was going to happen in episode 11 specifically, kind of leading us into the next episode, like leaving us on a cliffhanger or something, but we never got to see that. It kind of felt like it was its own thing. So I think I was just under the impression that it would have had a cliffhanger leading into the next one, but we didn't get that. But it was still great. I really enjoyed it because it was very emotional due to Marva's death and watching B2, just completely distraught about the whole situation. And when Marva's being carried out of her house, you can see the reflection of B2 in the window, just kind of hovering above her. That was pretty sad to see.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with them. I mean, everything corresponding wise, I'm satisfied with what I got out of the show. Like he said, I was expecting something maybe a little bit more. But the amount of action for like a slow-paced kind of spy show, which is a genre I've not dabbled into. I've never seen any of the James Bond stuff, none of that. This is a new genre, but a familiar universe. So it's a two new experiences, or at least, yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's a weird combo. Let's just put it. But I'm satisfied with what I got. There's a lot of nice Easter eggs and stuff like that too.
Heck yeah. So we're Nick. He's saying he's getting a little bit of static from your mic.
That could be because there's a bit of a Wi-Fi issue on the island at the moment. So
no worries.
That might be the reason.
I'm not hearing anything. Are you hearing anything?
You're
JT?
not.
It's a little bit. It's like occasional though. It's like in and out.
Okay, because I haven't heard anything yet. I just wanted to. I know it's Barb's basement, so he's not trolling. So I know he's not.
I'll speak a little lower. Maybe that will kind of help it out. I don't know.
Hopefully, who knows? Like I said, I didn't hear it, so I just wanted to bring it up. But
All right,
yeah, man, I agree. I felt like overall, like I really enjoyed, and like I thought the story was good. I was just surprised at the lack of like, I guess like, because Star Wars is so action packed. Like there's like very high points of action, and then I feel like it kind of drops back to like kind of like a baseline. And I thought that was interesting for like the last two. Like we got the riot, which was really cool. Him hitting that Imperial guy with the brick. I was like, oh man, and then Cassian. Swan diving that Death Trooper, man, and then you get the
Oh yeah.
who man, do we have a name for the bell guy? Ding ding.
Oh yeah, the
Spartan. Like,
let's call him Spartan Kicker. Let's call him Leonidas.
Yeah. Hey, what's going on, Rex?
Rex. Whoa, he's got imploders on his strap.
Yeah, he's ready to go, man.
Nice.
He's ready. This is what exploded at the HQ.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it only took one grenade. Who just leaves a crate of thermal imploders on the back of their truck?
Hey, what's going on, Drigget? Yeah, I know that's so strange, but I guess hey, they didn't seem like they were. It was cool to see riot shields, though. Honestly, like I know we kind of see a little bit throughout, but like I feel like the riot shields change, like especially during the ones with like Republic and stuff like that. You see like the ones the clones have. Versus like I felt like these were definitely like it was cool that they were black for one thing, like I don't know, like all blacked out shields. I was expecting to have like an Empire sigil or something like that on it, but
I was kind of taken off guard because usually when you think of shield in Star Wars, I think of two things. I think of like the little disc shields that some Mandos or Dirge or whoever would wear, on their gauntlets, or like a Gungan shield, Like even in the Citadel arcs of the Clone Wars, you see like a yellow version of a Gungan shield, like some sort of ray technology are in there. So it's at least still laser, but just see a flat out riot gear. That's I don't know.
Well, because
that's kind of cool.
Even the ones in Boba Fett, they were like blue, right? They had like it was like plasma.
Oh yeah, that's
like,
right.
Like,
yeah.
Yes.
So it was like interesting to see like kind of like I guess like that's kind of the whole point of the show, right? Though it's like I feel like it's like more a realistic version of Star Wars, so it's like seems like it's less like fantasy-esque. Like those riot shields look like they could have been used in real life, like if a police riot happened and they had one, like you wouldn't really quite like something you see out of like Call of Duty or something like that almost.
Well, it makes sense because the clone riot shields, they're not like any type of ray technology. They're like straight platforms too, because we saw them in
it's like concrete.
Yeah. So it makes sense how
do
it
you
carries
guys remember
the Empire.
Do you remember the Mandalore guards that we saw in the Clone Wars?
Oh yeah, they have straight ones too. You're right.
Gar Saxon has the blue ones just like it, yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about the guards that you have in Mandalore in the city. They have their normal riot shield with their police staff as well.
Guards.
Yes. Yeah, that was my concept of shield at first, but yeah, I completely forgot all of these laser shields, if you can call them like that.
I'm trying to look them up right now because I know the outfit of the guards, but I don't know.
They have this medieval style helmet as well.
Okay.
I'm surprised like factions like the Empire and the Republic for like their royal guard ranks didn't really give them shields. They kind of just gave them pikes. Yeah. You'd at least expect to have. If I remember, I think there was like a shield or something in the Crimson Empire like Royal Guard comics, but I can't remember. Okay. Also, by the way, Nick is making blue. He is eating blue noodles. Right
now. No, I gotta. That's the shield. But hold on. More importantly.
Yeah, you gotta put it.
Oh no, not me. There we go.
Where are they? There they are.
Nice.
And I have these available as a pattern on my Etsy, so check that out.
Heck yeah. We got all the links are down below. I got your Etsy link and all that stuff down below. So definitely go check those out, my guys. All right, let's. Okay, cool. I always hit the wrong one and it lines us up like a little like thumbnails, but I hit the right one this time, so we're good. Yeah. We're good.
My buddy Maul's in here. What's going on, Cody?
What's going on, my dude?
Cody.
Oh, I see. Yeah, he's looking this. He has like a coat.
Well, his name's actually Cody, so yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah,
nice. So, what would you guys say? Like, how do you rank it, like overall, and then like how do you rank compared to like all the other all the other shows that we've gotten. You know, we've got Tales of the Jedi, we've got Kenobi, we've got Boba Fett, we've got Mando. Like, how do you think that stacks up to that? And then what do you guys think of like its individual ranking?
In comparison to the other shows, it's probably pretty level. Mando is my top one for
Yeah.
Star
Yeah,
Wars right now, but I think
I agree.
Andor is like right at it or like maybe just below. But I think
Okay,
they're
okay.
pretty even for me. And then in terms of maybe a favorite episode or one that I thought was put together the best was I think the last one, because there was so much tension in the beginning when everyone's walking through the streets with the music playing. They're gearing up for something, the Empire's gearing up for something, and then the music stops, and then it like builds back up again, and they start walking towards each other. So I think it was just played off really well in this one. It was a good balance of information, like we saw with Mon and her husband talking about the whole gambling situation to trick her
Oh, dude,
driver
yeah,
into
setting
thinking with
him
the
up.
money. That was cool. But then at the end, the complete chaos that went on in Ferrix, the complete brutality of the Empire, just opening fire on the citizens and beating them too, and then in turn them just kicking the Imperials to the ground, carrying Dedra away.
Dude,
So
that
That was
was
hit with a rock or something. She's
Man,
like, ah!
no, dude. That her acting though, I felt like she was like, oh
Yeah.
crap, I'm about to
Yes.
die. Like I'm about to like really die, and like you can see
I
it, like,
always-
in her.
I always love when we just see like the pure fear and terror in the eyes of the Imperials. We first saw it mostly on Krennic just before he tasted the laser of the Death Star.
Yeah.
But then
That's a
in
nice
this
way to
one,
put it. Just taste it.
the one in this one in Andor, there was that one officer that went to go cover up B, but then Brasso like took care of him really fast, and he was like crawling
Bing.
back through the lines.
You shouldn't have knocked over the
Imperials.
droid.
Yeah, he got dude.
Yeah,
he got
I lost it
rocked.
when that happened.
You better kill him. No, but that whole scene where the it was a little bit off to me because I was kind of expecting the Empire to just open fire as soon as they started pushing on the riot shields. It was only until the nade went off and it caused the chain explosions that they
Yeah.
were like, just like
Let's
blindly
go!
fired. Because it reminded me of the Dark Times comics from Dark Horse. It shows like Empire's brutality on civilians and how they just don't care about like these just whatever. They're expendable species. We can afford losing this planet. We have a moon that orbits and kills planets, so we don't care anyways. You know, that's the whole vibe I was getting. But stuff like Mon Mothma's scenes were really intriguing. I wish we would have got more because where it ended with the kids being like Renaissance rules were like, oh, my kid's young, your kid's young, marry him. Yeah, that's the way it goes, right? I just felt kind of unfinished the way it was. We got it in the last episode, but all the stuff was good there.
I really hope we get a time jump, man. Like I really hope season 2 is like the year has passed or something like that, or like 6 months, something, you know.
Well, that's what it's supposed to be. Like every episode is supposed to be like some crazy time jump distance away. Is at least what I've heard. But I hate ranking the things. I don't like ranking a Star Wars show because it's biased. Everybody's Star Wars is different. For me,
Well,
I'm just like
I think that's the great thing about it though too is
Yeah.
like that's like what makes it interesting is like my ranking's gonna be different than your ranking, and as long as we're like polite about it, because like I think that's what the common misconception is like you'll say like, oh, like something like I think Book of Boba Fett was like the best show that Disney Plus has like ever created, and then like say I hated the Book of Boba Fett, and like I'd be like, oh well, you can't say that because I like like you'd be like, oh, interesting, but like why do you think that? Or, like it's like like you got to learn like how to like talk to another fan without being like you're wrong. That's because it's all made up.
Yeah,
literally Star Wars is made up.
People get defensive over a fake universe. It's their escape. So I see why, but it's a little bit childish the way some of these adults act. It's pretty funny online
for sure.
Not the
but
nails and
everybody's Star Wars is different. For me, at least, like what you guys said, Mando is my favorite live action show that we've gotten. Mando season 1 was like the feel of extra Star Wars, like comic book wise. At least my favorite out of them. I would probably say Andor's maybe an H. Mando season 1, 8.5. Kenobi 7.
0. No, I'm just kidding. kidding.
Whoa.
Book of Boba Fett's pretty much around there too. I mean, it just gets organized like that. But I'm more of the animated guy, anyways.
I feel that. Yeah, we just had Barb's Basement was talking about Dooku being like the best Star Wars we've gotten in 2 years. And I really think that's interesting. Like that's crazy. That's an awesome statement. I'm so glad that you liked it. But like, yeah, like an animated show takes the cake for all of them. That's so cool that like it has the potential to do that. And like I really hope we get a season 2. I think that'll be cool. And then Derpy 501st wanted to throw his opinion in there that he said he really enjoyed Andor over Mando, which is interesting. Like I've never heard that side, but I'm glad that people are liking it.
That's fair.
I think Andor was like a different kind of style of Star Wars, but I'm glad that it's
they're
resonating
completely
with
different. Yeah, they're different themes too. You know, the whole spy thing. I thought it was really cool in the last episode how they were still playing down the spy thing even when Marva's doing her little speech thing with B2. You know, Deidre goes up to the comms tower to see if he's hiding there, and he just misses it. He's in the sewers.
Yeah.
That was cool. That was like a little close call right there.
Nice. It was so funny when the Death Trooper like looks up the thing. I'm just like, yeah, right, dude.
Climb.
Climbing up that thing. I was like, you're not sneaking up on anybody. You're done. But hey, let his friend go up there, or the Imperial officer or whatever. And I was like, yeah, right. Like literally his like armor, like just like, the hole's like this, and he's trying to like walk up and like nah, bro.
He's walking on that tiny sewer too.
Yeah, everybody that's ever been in like Mando armor or like clone armor, they're like, yeah, okay, sure.
Their noises would echo through that tunnel too. It'd be like or whatever.
Yeah, when you are in an armor, you know that you couldn't be physically capable of climbing that stair in first place. Like, oh no, my knee pad got stuck on the staircase. I will not go up there.
But Rex, what did you think about like where does Andor kind of sit with you, and how do you feel now that it's kind of all wrapped up?
Oh well, in terms of storytelling, for me, it goes beyond all of the series that we have had so far, at least live action. Because first of all, the finale, I think it was perfect because for starters, it didn't introduce a new character or a character that we knew before, so that you're not like taking all the weight of the show just because of this one person. And then it also left kind of this semi-open finale because you know what happened with your main character in the future, but you don't really know how it's going to be. Like he is sure going to join the rebellion, but you don't know what are going to be the circumstances for this. You don't know if his friends survive. I personally think they won't because we never see them in the future, so they don't
that,
have
or they're like somewhere else.
Yes, or perhaps they send them to Alderaan just for their safety, and that never ends well.
They're building something
with
know
how they're
with Vel and Cinta. Like I think there's going to be something big going off between them because they're building that tension very slow.
Yes.
But you saw it in the last episode where she's like, step away from the door and like look at me, dude. Like you can't just be focused.
Some friends
I think
have
it's
the
going to
theory
be
that she's going to betray her at some point in the second season.
Who Vel's going to betray Cinta, or Cinta's going to betray Vel?
Cinta betraying Vel.
Oh,
I don't really know why. I mean, they had their arguments, and it actually makes sense.
Why can't I see Cinta as like a Saul Guerrera type character, where
she was
just like, I'll do
focused,
anything?
She was also too focused on like the acts of the rebellion to care about her love life. I mean, they even said that in the episode too. Like, I see, this longest time that we spent away from each other, and this is what you say to me, or whatever. It's about the job.
Real. Yes, Brad. Star Wars is real in our hearts. It is real. I won't take that away from you, my friend. I won't take that away from you. You guys are blowing up, popping off the chat tonight, man. I appreciate it. This is awesome.
You're famous.
As soon as Cassian's friend went into that transport and then he left and was like, oh God, what's going to happen to them? I thought if they were just going to go into the atmosphere and get like sucked in by a tractor beam or something, a Star Destroyer. But so I'm glad they cut.
Some TIE fighters to just take down the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah,
As soon as
what a
Cassie left, I was like,
cliffhanger.
oh god, there's no important people on it now.
But no, freaking.
I mean, Bix is pretty much a vegetable at this point, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think she
Aw.
because she didn't. I don't even think she realized that it was Cassian. I think it was just like she was like talking about Cassian. Like she's like because at the end she's like Cassian always shows up, but he's like literally right there,
Yeah.
just like in front of her and stuff like that.
She,
So he's
she was
kind
just
of a
like
potato.
Bootstrap Bill, the guy that played Luthen. Like he plays Bootstrap
Oh,
Bill in
yeah.
Pirates of the Caribbean. He's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
William, you were supposed to rescue me.
I remember.
I remember. And he's like stuck in a loop with his brain.
Yeah, they did drop that kind of storyline. His sister, like they kind of brought it up at the beginning, and then
I was gonna bring that up.
that they
I
just
wonder,
kind
I
of.
wonder if that's ever gonna be something. Because when he went home on Ferrix, Marva brought up saying like, "Oh, you should stop looking for her." So that would be kind of weird if Cassian was just like, "Oh, okay, I'll stop."
Yeah,
Because I'm sure there's something in his head going like, "Oh yeah, I should pick this up at some point." Maybe she's
Disney
like
getting rid of their characters, be like, okay, I don't need to see you, I guess.
oh
yeah, I wonder if she might play a
Pirates is
bigger
good.
part in like she might be friends with Luthen or something, and Luthen
That'd be
doesn't
cool.
know. Luthen doesn't know that they're related. Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. I'm really excited. They said Yavin and stuff like that for season 2. We're gonna get K2SO obviously and stuff like that. I really hope because like I think this one to me this season and like because like I've heard a lot of people say like oh it's just not exciting, it's boring, it's super slow. I really think this to me this season felt like it was like a setup to drop something big for season 2. Like I think they're really going to go hard in season 2. Like the rebellion is like started, it's going. I think especially if they time hop, I think there's going to be some really cool action and like spy and tomfoolery going around.
I'm new to this genre and in this type of show as well too. Like this whole pacing is off to me, but it's definitely interesting. I'm being optimistic. But like what you said with Yavin, I mean, every time I hear Yavin, I just think of Asajj Ventress and Anakin dueling in the Clone Wars, man. So I little Easter eggs like they throw in shows, like the entire show could be garbage, but if something small like that triggers a Star Wars fan to be like, this is the best show because of this, let them have it, man. You know, that whole Starkiller's helmet was the last thing that I would expect to see in
more than
Andor.
the version too. Like it's like double versions, you know. It's crazy.
Yeah, and Nick was confirming on the whole face plate of the other one because we saw the shot of the other
in the back
version of the helmet. It was like
Mando
prototype armor, yeah. Reiko Hardin, if you will.
Yeah.
Get more moist about. Don't say moist. Don't say Ricotta reference. Oh my goodness. Yeah, the Ricotta reference was pretty cool.
Barb's Basement is an EU nut, by the way. He's a Darth Crate stan. Probably just twitched when I said Darth Crate. But, yeah.
It was. I kind of liked that message. Because I felt like that was like a real world message almost. When Cassian touches his dad's like stone. And then like you kind of get that flashback of like, oh man, the world's so quick to like throw stuff away. And like he's like literally you spend 2 minutes like repurposing a part and it's like 500 credits, but most people just want to sell you the new kind of thing. And I felt like that was kind of which I think Star Wars always has a good job of bringing like real world elements of the time into Star Wars. And because I kind of felt like that one. I feel like there's a lot of consumption going on around the world and stuff like that of like new products. And like, we just got done having Black Friday and everybody's, wants to buy like the next newest and greatest thing. And I thought that was kind of a good message, but I wanted to see what you guys kind of thought about that.
My buddy Maul, he actually just bought one of the new Black Series B2 emo figures.
Oh, that's cool.
And he held it up to the camera. He's a big collector and that kind of stuff. But I know my buddy that just showed up actually, Strike, much love, man. He and Maul Walker, who's in here earlier, I don't know if he's still watching, but they were hyping up the Death Troopers a lot. And I was saying, you can't hype them up. We don't know what's going to happen. And then there was like only 2 at the end. One of them gets like halo jumped from the side corner, like pre-aimed. And the other one, I can't even remember. He just gets obliterated, I think. I don't know.
I think he gets blown up by the bomb or something like that. But yeah, I thought that was a little weird. I was like, these guys are like the elite of the elite. And he's just jumping in going, pew, and then done. I was like, come on, man. come on, this is supposed to be like elite troopers, but
They hype it up so bad. I feel
Sneak
bad
attack.
for them because that's what they wanted to see. And I know before we even got the episode with the flashback of the Phase 2 clones, like that was all that we saw of them. I thought we were gonna see more throughout, because like he's ex-separatist or
Yeah.
what mind you about
I
the
thought it
war,
was
so.
interesting. They brought back a lot of like I thought they were gonna do a lot more flashbacks because that's kind of what the show started with, but they dropped the flashbacks like instantly. I feel
Yeah.
like it was like the first couple episodes and then like no flashbacks, not at all.
Yeah, it
So-
was basically just until we saw that Marva is his adopted mother, and then the stuff about his father with the clone troopers, and then so I guess it was just kind of a background for his parents, if nothing else.
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say I think so because like they I don't know who mentions, I don't know if it's his mom or like somebody, but they mentioned that planet got wiped out after that happened. Like they killed everybody on that planet, like anybody that was surviving. So I think maybe that was like the end of it. It was just like, oh, his sister's dead, or they'll bring her back in season 2 as some like crazy bounty hunter or something like that. Be crazy.
I think the only flashback of when he was like a kid on that planet, like in the jungle with his tribe and all that, the only one that really, for me, that needed to be shown was the one where they, porcupined that poor individual.
yeah.
And then they show Marva, on the ship and all that.
Which I'm also sad we never really got to like figure out what that was about.
Oh
Like
yeah,
whether that
'cause
was
she
like a
calls them-
ploy.
Yeah, because she calls them Republic, but they have separatists. That whole thing.
Yeah.
They did
Yeah.
leave some loose ends. I mean, even showing stuff like Saw, like questioning, is he going to join? Is he not going to join? People like my parents are going to see that. Like, I don't know who this guy is to begin with.
Yeah.
And it goes nowhere. So then they get disappointed because they're not going to remember that's one of the guys from freaking Rogue One talking about an octopus,
Well, even in Rogue One, because I remember showing Rogue One to my friend, and she hadn't seen like the Clone Wars or anything like that. So she was like, "Who the hell is this guy? Like just coming out of nowhere?" And like I feel like they kind of do the exact same thing in like you have to watch a lot of like the external stuff to really know about Saw Gerrera, which I guess like at the end of the day he's kind of like a side character, so it's like it is what it is, but. Like it's still like for like you said, like for more casual people, they're like, who is this guy that's like lies, deceptions?
Yeah.
But what did you guys so they had this big like man, I got major like high school vibes with like the marching band like coming down like this like the town and stuff like that. Like I don't know, we always used to have like our after I got out of football practice in high school, like the marching band was always like in like the parking lot, like doing all their stuff, and they were all dressed up. And I was like, man, these guys look exactly like what I would picture like Star Wars marching band to be.
Yeah, it was kind of somber, that song that they're playing, man. Like this is like the last fight that we're either gonna win it or we're gonna be under total control.
Well, I thought it was interesting because to me it didn't really sound like a funeral song. It sounded like you were saying like we're going to war.
Yeah,
kind of song. It wasn't like a like we're reminiscing about our fallen, which I totally I guess misplaced that because I thought Marva wasn't going to be dead. Maybe they changed something, but there's definitely a scene in the trailer where she's covering her head and like there's explosions going off behind her, and we didn't see that to my knowledge.
I never saw that.
Or maybe they clipped it together weird, or maybe I just saw something funny, but like I thought it was like she kind of like ducks and there's like explosions going off behind her. And then it cuts to Death Troopers right after that. Maybe, like I said, maybe I saw that wrong, but I was like, oh, she's gonna be alive. She's gonna come back and like spark the rebellion, which I guess she did in a way. What did you guys think about her speech?
Oh, perfect.
I love that. No, you can continue.
Thanks. I love that her speech, first of all, that never mentioned the Force, so that felt much closer to the ground. Like you're not having superpowers like a Jedi, like you are just normal people, but you still can do a lot, even being who you are. And I think that's something that made this speech probably some of the best things that we have had in Star Wars in terms of inspiration, because again, she never said, "Oh, the Force is with us, and it's going to help us with the Empire."
Oh yeah.
She simply said, "You are enough for this. Just stand up and fight."
Heck yeah. Well, that's the thing I really like about Andor. It's probably the thing. it's like I like the little nods of like everyday world Star Wars. Like it's like shows you kind of like what the average person's doing in Star Wars. Because it's like, it's a lot of surveillance, it's a lot of spying because it's like a spy genre. But that's one thing that I hope kind of carries over into other Star Wars is like I feel like the acting that we got in Andor is some of the best acting we've ever had in Star Wars.
Oh, agreed.
Acting
Yeah.
and writing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I hope that I really hope that the writers and directors who are going to do future projects kind of take note of that and be like, yo, use this as a template, you
Yeah.
know.
And I see that's where it kind of draws a flat for me because I like Mando season 1 in the sense that the theme is more appealing to me, the way everything looks and it feels. But I think the acting in Andor is superior.
That's what I'm saying. If we can combine both of those,
Yeah.
like that's like, I mean, that's gonna be like the holy grail.
And I'm a sucker for lightsabers, fast action, but I'm liking the show. The slow paced spy drama and all of that. And I mean, people are gonna complain about the stupidest things too.
Yeah,
It's too slow.
it's the internet, dude.
Isn't it so refreshing how we got a show with no lightsabers? And I'm like, dude, what is Rogue One? What is Mando? I mean, he uses a dark saber like what, once or something. We've gotten this before. It's people have they're just trying to come up with something. I think. I don't know.
I definitely think. I mean, and I'm completely because I like action. Like I'm like all the video games that I play are action packed. All the movies that I watch, for the most part, are action packed. I do like other movies besides action stuff, but I really hope season 2. That's why I wanted to fast forward because I kind of want to see like rebellion in like full swing. Like I want to see the action. I want to see the I'm fine with the slower because like I would argue that Mando has some slower episodes where he's like transitioning from like planet to planet.
Oh, there's filler episodes in there. Yeah.
And I'm cool with that. Like it kind of like it doesn't just flash forward to like his next location. You actually get to like journey with him. And I like that style of storytelling, but like I think they can definitely up the action in season. Like I said in our Discord, like raise the stakes, more empire, more like higher value. Like you gotta like at the beginning I thought that was really cool and I wish we would have got to see him steal the Starpath unit. I think that would have been a really cool like intro mission or something like that.
See what you're talking about is why I love the Aldani episode. I think that's my favorite episode with the heist because they combine the spy aspect with the fast-paced action.
Yeah.
The whole if I could sum up the whole series I don't want. Never mind. I'm not going to go that way. But if I can picture it,
Well, now you have to. I'm curious.
Yeah, say what you're going to say, man.
It wasn't leading down the right direction, but I was going to say if I could sum up the whole series with an image, it would be the TIE fighter with the Aldani like star show, and he's about to get in the cockpit. But that wasn't going to fit what I was going to say. But I was going to say that shot is cool though. That's probably one of my new favorite live action shots.
For sure.
Yeah, I think they definitely could have because I like Andor. Like I said, I think I put it above Kenobi and Boba Fett. I think in my I wrote on the Discord like what I thought.
For me as well.
And I think it's just like for me, man, the story was just like because I'm a sucker for a good, even if it's like slow or like not like super action packed. I'm a sucker for a good story, and I think like regardless, I think the story was like. It had some like kind of like lower lows when like you're transitioning, but every episode after that paid off. Like it like was building suspense, and then when the suspense was supposed to drop, I feel like it delivered. It delivered on you got the Aldani heist, you got the prison break, and then I feel like the last episode really slapped too. I feel like when it was supposed to drop, it dropped. And sorry, JT, I kind of cut you off.
No, you're good, man. That whole media goes outside of Star Wars too. You can dump all the money you want into a show. If the story is garbage, you're not going to get the traction you're shooting for.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And new shows going for these hundreds of $1 million an episode. You kind of want to have a good story.
Yeah, I think Boba Fett had replying to kind of Barb's statement here. I think Boba Fett had a lot going for it. I think they needed if that's what it feels like to me, they needed a show out like now. They were at like Mando had just finished wrapping up. They needed Mando 2 had just finished wrapping up. They kind of needed another show to like throw into production because like I feel like it had the right. And this we're obviously talking about Andor, so we'll flip back to Andor here in a second. But I love Boba Fett, so You got me rolling on the Boba Fett train. I just feel like a lot of like the flashbacks, because I personally like the flashbacks. A lot of people didn't. I just don't feel like they showed us the flashback and then they flash forward us to real time. And I don't feel like a lot of the stuff that was learned in the flashbacks equated to anything that was happening to Boba in the real timeline that he was actually living. Like nothing really like correlated. And I feel like you kind of got to have that. Like, why even show us that if it's not going to like, that's like storytelling and like TV show kind of 101. They like set you up with like, you know, like a lesson, and then they show like you learned that lesson in the later part of the episode. And then also the two episodes of Mando, which arguably are the best episodes in the show.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
Mando season 3.
Max, I have your answer for you in the voice of Tom. You see, I wanted to do the flashbacktors. You know, we call them flashbacktors because I was in a Bacta tank. I wanted to do the flashbacktors so I can show Lumpy. Lumpy was Black Chrysanthemum. And that's the holiday special planet. And I take him to the Polynesian spa. Here's your answer.
Well said. But so kind of to wrap things up, we kind of talk about the rebellion and like it kind of starting on fair, or not the main rebellion, but like, you know, just that. I feel like that was such a crazy scene. Like I thought that because they were showing that guy a lot, the guy that was, I guess, was the transport guy. I guess he was the one that owned the shop that Cassian was like escaping from and using the
with those weird Tuscan Rancor dog looking things.
Yeah. I think I'm guessing, right? Like he was the owner, and then that other older guy was like just the guy that maintained everything.
Was that the dude that looked like our buddy Brad, Dragon Husk?
Which one?
There's a dude in the show that looks just
worker?
like him. Yes,
the shipyard worker. Like in this episode. In this episode, Cassian like climbs the wall to Bix and Tim's place, and then that guy's kind of cleaning it up for them. He said.
Mm-hmm.
So I think JT's talking about that guy.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go back and watch.
Just like him, dude.
I didn't see that.
See it.
I think I can see it now. Yes.
Yeah, that I would have liked the main Tuscan chick to be a part of the final. That would have been super cool. I think have like raised the stakes or something like that. Like the Tuscan Raider girl. I think that dude. Also, like I just give Boba Fett props because like I didn't give two craps about Tuscan Raiders before that show, and like it made me care about Tuscan Raiders way more. You know, because it gave like an end to life sort of thing. So I will give Boba Fett props for that.
See, Brian here at Barb's can agree with me. The Darth Krayt origin story with Ashrad Hett and the Tuscans. You read the comic book Star Wars Republic. It's like 83 issues long. There's an arc in there where it talks about a character, you know, Ashrad Hett. Yeah, it looks just like him. But it talks about the Tuscans and their culture, and it shows Anakin actually. And one of them is a cover with Anakin hovering over a Tuscan. He's about to cut him down.
Yeah, because like worshiping him now, right? Like they would worship him, like Vader.
It's like a hidden Jedi amongst the tribe. It's kind of cool to see the innards of that.
You know, me too. Faction. Get out of my head. Well, it's cool because they were like a subsect of like, it was cool to know that like all Tusken Raiders aren't the same. There's like different groups that have like different ideologies and stuff like that. I really like that.
And it makes you feel bad for it makes you feel bad in Attack of the Clones when Anakin's like outside of the door and he's like you hear him crying.
Have you read the Kenobi book? Now it's Legends, but have you read this?
I think so. Which one? There's a couple. So which one?
There's a comic miniseries about Kenobi. I don't
Oh no, it's just normal book, normal text.
No, I didn't.
I may have, maybe.
Well, this book actually shows. Well, of course, it's Obi-Wan between Revenge of the Sith. It's almost right after that, and somewhere between A New Hope.
Basically, his time in between the two. I think I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, in this book, they actually show a lot of the Tusken Raiders because they are a major part of the plot, and it actually shows them as a culture rather than just a bunch of hunters, primitive hunters. They have their own culture. They have their mini civilization and their system that every tribe works different, and they explain why they are so mad with the Skywalkers particularly, and with everyone in Tatooine and all of that.
Well,
Uh,
I think that that's like the coolest thing about that is because I think that's what they were kind of trying to do with the Boba Fett, is to say like, hey, we're not all the same, we're not all just savages, and like they
yeah,
were kind of explaining like their time before it was turned into like a desert, like how they were there originally, and like how the seas like it was covered in ocean and stuff like I
yeah.
really like, and like two. Like when Boba Fett goes and gets his, and I know we're talking a lot about Boba Fett. We'll get back to Andor. I blame Barb's basement. He sparked the fire of Boba
It's
Fett.
easy to off trail when it comes to Star
Yeah.
Wars. So.
But yeah, I thought that was cool that like when he's like tripping balls in the desert, it's like an ocean when it kind of like symbolizes Camino, but also like the originality of like Tatooine, how it used to be like an ocean planet, all that stuff.
Yeah,
But
and in Mando season 2, when they're fighting that Krayt Dragon, I mean, they have to put their differences aside.
yeah,
You know, these are
That
people too.
episode is very much the live action, let's say, summary of this Kenobi book, because you also have them fighting against the Krayt Dragon with the people. Well, just a few bunch of people and the Tusken Raiders against this Krayt Dragon. Of course, your superhero could be Boba. I mean, Dean and this. I forgot the name. The Marshal, you know.
oh, Cobb Vanth,
Cobb,
Vanth,
yeah.
yes. Instead of Obi-Wan, but
Mr.
it's
Corn
pretty
on the
much the same
Cob.
thing. Yeah.
But what did you guys think of like? So we got that. I'm so glad that I saw that in our little group chat that we have about the ending, because I wouldn't have watched, because like Star Wars never does those little ending things. I think it's done it like twice. I think it did it in like Boba, and then I think it did it in, or well, obviously Andor. But I don't know. It was one of you guys. You guys called it that they were working on Death Star parts.
Well,
At the very-
I had a theory, but Nick was also, he kind of shut that down. He made me rethink my theory because he was saying everything inside of Narkina 5 was 7 sides. And it wouldn't make sense to be the number 7 if it was Death Star, because Death Star is usually 8, you know, 8 focusing discs, 8 focusing rings, 8 chambers, 8 this, 8 that. So that was a nice little, oh yeah, sure, let's go with that.
I should have kept my mouth shut.
Do you guys think like, I don't even know what do you think they were like the solar panels that moved, or do you think they gave them like energy? Like, what do you think those were? Like,
I
'cause
would
they
say
moved a
that's
little
an
bit.
insulator, because
Oh,
if
yeah.
in modern, well, in real life, rocket science, let's say, you have golden protection, like a golden sheet to kind of absorb the radiation from the sun, and in this case, you have like actual radiation from the kyber crystals and whatever you have from the residuals of the dead ray.
Yeah,
So
I don't.
my
You bring
guess
up
is
a
a
good.
protection.
I was like, you bring up a good question that I've never thought about. Like, how much radiation would a laser blast of that magnitude create?
Ask
And
Krennic,
like,
I don't know.
Enough
like
to
that.
take out a planet that emits some radiation.
But I'm just saying,
right?
like, do you think that like affects like the troopers that are on like the
I
Death
will
Star?
say
Like,
no.
they
I
get,
will
like,
say it doesn't
contaminated?
affect them.
Turns into
The
like,
ones that stand
Fallout?
right next to the beam,
Yes.
maybe.
That needs to
perhaps
be
they
the
get cancer each time they stand up in there.
that's the video game right there. So like it's like Fallout 3 Star Destroyer or Death Star edition, you know?
Yeah.
Just
It-
Fallout inside the
towards-
Death Star.
Towards the end of the Force Unleashed, ooh, JT's talking about Force Unleashed again. Ooh, no. Towards the end of that game, they actually have a chamber that you play as Star Killer, and he Galen Merrick at the time. He's actually using the Force to slow down these like giant rings.
Oh, dude, I
basically
hate
create a
thing so
create
much,
a bit,
dude.
like
It's
a base
so-
to cross.
Yeah,
Yeah, but in that entire, there's like 3 of those orb rooms with the big spinning gyro discs that you have to like align. On the inner walls of those, they also have, I think, those gold like sheets too, or at least something that looks similar to it. Because I remember it was like a weird like chromy green and gold room.
The more you know,
Yeah.
man. Protection by tinfoil. Let's go.
Yeah. Tinfoil hats.
Wear your hats.
That's
yeah.
all the trooper armor was insulated by tinfoil.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I mean, I think that's kind of. I don't know if you guys had anything else to like kind of add, but I really think that was. Oh, he joins the rebellion at the end of it. He's like, you can either kill me, or like show me the way, essentially. So.
Yeah.
I think
Um,
if Luthen didn't hear Marva's speech, I think he would have shot him.
yeah,
I think he
You
would
know,
show
Well,
him.
he also realized how much of an asset he is to the rebellion because
yeah.
Deidre's obsession literally caused legions of them to be on Ferrix. That was she
True, yeah.
controlled the ISB through her obsession by doing
Yeah.
that. So that whole speech with Marva, like you said, he would have probably killed him. My mind was more so on the fact that he was trying to be Darth Maul so much. He lands on that planet. He's got a black hood. The ship folds down like his scimitar, and he gets on a
speeder.
Bloodfin looking speeder.
dude, it was all
Like-
chromed out though. That speeder was sick, man. It looked really
It was
cool.
cool. I was like, all he
He's
needed
got-
to do
he's
was
got
have
the
some
money to
probe droids
spend.
for reconnaissance. Yeah.
Oh, that's what I wanted to talk about too, because we were kind of combining last week's episode when he like shreds that like Imperial like pirate catcher ship. I forget what the actual terminology is, but like that ship is designed for like
the
catching
arrestor
smugglers. And,
class.
Yeah.
yeah, and he just like shreds it like a piece of paper. Like, how cool is that? It's like it's cool to see ships that actually have money and like they're not breaking down like the Falcon. Like the Falcon's a great ship, but it's breaking down because Han doesn't always have the money to fix it. And like Luthen's, I feel like is like top tier, like rich of the rich class,
Yeah.
like spaceship, with the lasers and stuff.
And even Rich of the Rich Kyber-powered spaceships, he's still got like random junk and spare parts that he just shoots out to the tractor beam to make it out of the
dude.
way.
It-
That reminded me of Attack of the Clones with Obi-Wan using that to, avoid the heat signatures from Django's missiles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna
yeah.
say, I don't
It
know if you
actually
guys-
reminded me of the Cars 2 film. Have you seen it? From
The what?
Pixar.
Ooh, that's a long time
I
ago.
know what
That's
you're
a
talking
throwback.
about. Yeah.
You have this. Let's say the main character, second main character, you have one spy that releases some sort of bombs towards some magnet ship. The bombs are magnetic. Well, they are metal, so they fly to the magnet. They explode the ship. Basically, the same idea. I mean, just
Yeah.
try to look
Yeah.
that part, and it will be the same thing.
He should have tried spinning. That's a good trick.
He does try spinning though. He spins the
does.
lasers and beats the two thing. But yeah, no, I was gonna say like he I don't know if you guys ever seen the movie Twister, but they have like this machine called Dorothy where they have a whole bunch of like bottle caps inside of it that like
Yeah.
read the thing. And that's what it reminded me of when he released all those like little thingies. It seemed like they were like the little projector things from
I
Twister.
can see that. Yeah.
But I guess we'll kind of end on I know we've talked about it here and there, but like what would you guys like to see from a season? I know we're getting a season 2, we know we're getting K2SO, but like what would you guys personally like to see for season 2?
Before we dive into that, I wanted to mention a cool tie-in that I kind
Oh,
of thought of.
Okay.
So
Nick's Easter eggs.
So cool tie-in I thought of was there was a line in Rogue One. I forget if it was Tarkin that said it or someone talking to Tarkin, but they basically say like, "Oh, after so many setbacks and delays, it's finally finished." And now we kind of know that one of those setbacks and delays was the whole escape from Narkina 5, because that set back their whole production of the radar dish being set in. So that was just a cool detail I thought of.
Yeah, that actually is pretty cool. I didn't even think about that because I wonder if we're going to see more, like even without like, because obviously like Cassian doesn't know about like the Death Star. Like, he didn't find out about the Death Star till Rogue One. Like, I wonder if we're going to see like more next season. Like, would they just keep disrupting like the Death Star plans without even kind of knowing?
Dude, he
Because
inadvertently helped make his own death.
Yeah,
That's true.
Yes.
It's interesting because it's probably like what, like probably still 4 or 5 years until Rogue One, right?
I think
don't know.
5, yeah. 5.
Yeah, so I don't know how many
But-
off the top of my head.
So it's weird how in Rogue One we still see it kind of like being put together, like where the giant dish kind of like slots in. So they have to continue disrupting something somewhere down the line to
And that
have like a
was-
whole 5 years of building still to go.
Yeah, and that was another argument too, because when you see the end of Revenge of the Sith, you see the dish is actually assembled and already on.
I wanted
Oh,
to bring that
everything.
up. Like, it seems like, do you think they would be a little less further along with it?
See, two things. One, if George Lucas knew Andor was coming out, I'm pretty sure that would have been changed. Second of all, that's just like a weird little argument to make, like, in inconsistency because we don't know how the
Well, here.
Empire built the Death Star. We don't know if they have to retake that out to then insert it back in because they have to slide some weird slotting
True, yeah.
architecture.
Someone
We don't
put
know.
it together wrong.
Yeah.
Someone read the IKEA instructions wrong, you know.
I'm sure he was thrown into the laser.
Yeah, see, so here, I'm gonna.
I think it has to do with the power source because have you read Catalyst, the book?
Yeah, that was
No.
good. I really enjoyed that.
Well, I haven't finished it yet, but I think that
trying
it
to
has.
find-
Oh, there it is.
So that's how complete it was at the end of Revenge of the Sith. I don't know how well you guys can see that.
You
but,
can see, you can see that they're working on the dish. I mean, there's progress on the dish. It's not as
Yeah, it's
complete as
definitely
it
not
was,
as
but-
much as in Rogue One. Rogue One, shoot.
Yeah, but
Andor, though.
we don't know how it was built though. We can't even use that as an
Yeah.
argument. I just found that funny.
They were 3 extra screws, and they didn't even know where to put it. What?
The Phillips screw is canon in Star Wars. I'm sure a lot of cosplayers are happy about that.
they got the build a set from IKEA, build a set of Death Star plans. So they had extra parts left over.
Oh, we ran out of metal. Let's use balsa. Yeah, that'll work.
Do you guys know? So how long does Andor take place after Revenge of the Sith? Do you guys know?
My buddies would know that. What exactly? I'm not sure.
I thought it was the same kind of time-ish as Kenobi, so like 10 years, I think.
Or maybe just like a tiny bit after. Something like that.
Okay,
you know?
so I think that's
what's the time difference between 3 and 4? We can back it up that way.
20 years.
So yeah,
20,
it's like
right?
15 then.
Because like Luke's like 1920 in A New Hope, and
I
Yeah,
he
so
know
it's like
that
15 years after then.
I know that some
5
events
years
actually
before
tie
episode
in
4
with
then.
Rebels.
Math.
Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, I think at the amount of people that they had, 10 years with the amount of resources they had, they could probably get that far with the Death Star, I feel like.
Yeah.
I mean, they had so many people working on this thing.
They had Wookiees working on it too.
Yeah.
They enslaved the whole planet, Kashyyyk, to
Yeah.
get them on board.
Oh yeah. But no, that's crazy. That's I thought that I didn't think we were gonna get a Death Star kind of sequence at the end, but it was cool to see them kind of throwing that little nod in, because I was wondering if they kind of like loosely mentioned the Emperor and stuff like that. I wonder if the next season, well, I think they're kind of playing the Death Star card like close to their hand, because like I don't know if they would bring in Krennic for the second season, because like if you brought in Krennic, unless it was like to show the opposite side, right?
You know, it makes sense if they brought in Galen or so.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
to
would
see,
be
to
so
see that.
cool if they brought him in.
Show him actually,
I love that actor.
hijacking,
Yeah.
tantalizing.
That would be, because like I wonder how many. I think there's rumored to be 3 seasons of Andor. I think that's like, I mean, who knows, obviously, because that's so far away.
I only
I
heard 2, but all right.
Yeah, I heard 2.
I think they somebody had said, and who knows, because like, you know, I could say that, oh, they're gonna have a second cut of Revenge of the Sith come out or something like that. Doesn't mean it's true. So like, who knows? But I thought I heard somebody say that there was going to be 3. They had greenlit it for 3, but only 2 had been announced yet.
Well, 3 or not, I thought it was wild before Andor even came out. They announced season.
Yeah,
2
the second.
coming
Yeah.
out. Holy smoke! This show must be good.
I think it makes sense because of like I said, I feel like to me this whole season felt like a setup for next season. Like
yeah,
it
I'm
kinda-
just
that
being
was-
cautiously optimistic. You know.
That was definitely the intention, though, because there was some interview that I watched where the creators basically said that it's going to take 2 stories to tell. So think of this as like the first half of a show, and then season 2 will be the second half of a show.
Yeah, I'm
And
excited
it
to
just
binge
sucks
it
we
all.
have to
once
wait
it's
2
done.
years.
Yeah. I mean, hey, to be fair though, we got a lot of awesome stuff coming. In the next,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
this
year
is
and a
the
half.
year of Star Wars, man.
Yeah.
We got Bad Batch season 2, Ahsoka, Mando 3. Yeah.
Like it's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
it's gonna pop off. So I think hopefully maybe they'll throw in a Star Wars video game too. But I'm not holding my cards too close to the chest on that one. But yeah, I think, I mean, unless you guys have anything else, I think that's kind of I overall, like I didn't really say my piece about Andor.
I
really,
just want one final word to say
Go
about
for it.
this. I think that one thing that is very slept on among the Star Wars community is the music. because it doesn't get enough credit to give the atmosphere that it got. Because it wasn't just the epic score that you usually get, like Duel of the Fates or the Imperial March, but it really helped you set that environment and feel you connected with it
Mhm.
without taking that much away from the whole tension that you felt in it. Like, for me personally, probably my favorite would be the funerary march that we get, of course, in the finale. Uh, just because of how slow it gets and the emotions that it just gives you, and then just of course cuts just to move on the fast pace to walk, as well as the pace that the music gets, and it gives you that idea of, okay, I think I'm going to die now. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, like we were saying, the double meaning, like it was
Yes,
supposed to be a funeral, but it also kind of resembles that. Like, okay, this is an uprising.
It's about to go
It's
down.
it's gonna go
yes,
down. But yeah,
yeah,
like what you said about the music too. The intro to every single episode had like a spin on the theme, which was cool.
Oh yeah, like some had
Yeah.
horns, some had like the strings. I'm like blanking on the names of the instruments, but like some had different stuff, which I thought was kind of cool too.
Mhm.
This one had definitely a lot more horns in it because I guess they were kind of reminiscing on like horns from the actual stuff. But yeah, I mean,
Battle horns.
yeah, I thought it was. I mean, I thought Ando. Man,
Ender.
and,
Cassian Ender.
Cassian Ando. I thought Andor was pretty good. Overall, I think I really enjoyed it. I do think there are some episodes that could have been condensed and like I think utilized better. I think they were trying to really build that suspense, and we're just not used to seeing that. But overall, I mean,
Definitely.
I think it was a solid story. I really enjoyed it. I love the grittiness about it. Like I'm excited. I think the main takeaway from it is I'm excited to see where they go from here. And I think that should tell you if you're like watching something, you're kind of like, oh, I don't know how I feel. If you want to see that next, like what happens next, like they're doing something right. They're hooking you in, so
Definitely.
which I think Andor does.
Yeah.
yes.
Agreed.
Nick looks so Imperial officer right now. Oh yeah, for sure. He's rocking it with his blue noodles and hat. But all right, guys, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to go check out Kestis. And then also, too, if you guys want some awesome Black Friday deals, I think my deal ends December 2nd, which is Friday. You can get 20% off your entire purchase. And with that, thank you guys for watching, and may the Force be with you. Catch you guys.